Beginner's Bible, Timeless Children's Stories by Thunder Kids. The Beginner's Bible, which is also illustrated by Zunderman. Gideon's battle. Judges 6-7. God's people kept disobeying his rules, so God allowed their enemies to take all their food away. Again, the Israelites turned to God for help. Again, God answered their prayers. God chose a man named Gideon to help his people. God sent an angel to Gideon. "You are a mighty warrior," said the angel. "You will save God's people." Gideon said, "But I am from a family that isn't rich or important." Then Gideon prayed to God, "I need a sign from you. I will put some wool on the floor. Tomorrow, if the wool is wet and the ground is dry, I will believe you." The next morning, the wool was wet and the ground was dry. But Gideon wanted another sign. He said to God, "Now, if the wool is dry and the ground is wet, I will be sure you have chosen me." The next morning, God made the wool dry and the ground wet. Now Gideon was sure. He said, "God, I will do whatever you say." Over 30,000 men wanted to join Gideon's army. "That's too many," God said. He showed Gideon how to win with only 300 men. The plan sounded strange, but Gideon trusted God. During the night, Gideon and his men surrounded the enemy camp. They blew trumpets and smashed clay jars. They waved burning torches in the air. Their enemies were frightened. They must be a huge army, they thought. So they ran away. God's people won. Samson, Judges 13-16. The Israelites were in trouble again. Along came a very strong man named Samson. God has chosen him to save the Israelites from their enemies, the Philistines. Samson knew that as long as he did not cut his hair, he would always be very strong. Samson was in love with Delilah. The Philistines told Delilah they would pay her if she found out what made Samson so strong. At first, Samson lied to her. "If you tie me up with ropes," Samson said, "I will lose my strength." That night, Samson slept. Delilah tied him up. Then she shouted, "The Philistines are coming." Samson jumped up and broke the ropes. Delilah kissed him and asked, "Won't you tell me your secret?" Samson gave in and told her, "My strength is in my long hair." When Samson was asleep, Delilah had all his hair cut off. Samson's strength was gone. The Philistines grabbed him and put him in jail. A while later, the Philistines were having a big party. They brought Samson in and made fun of him. Samson prayed to God to make him strong one last time. God did. Samson pushed the pillars with all his might. The temple came crashing down, and Samson defeated the Philistines. Ruth and Naomi. Ruth 1-4. Naomi grew up in the promised land, which was also called Israel. But now she lived far away. She had a husband and 2 sons. Ruth was married to one of the sons. Then something sad happened. Naomi's husband and son died. Not long after that, Naomi decided to go back to her homeland. Naomi told Ruth to return to her parents, but Ruth did not want to leave her. She loved Naomi so much. "I will go wherever you go," Ruth said. "Your home will be my home. Your God will be my God." So Ruth went with Naomi to Israel. They needed food to eat, so one day Ruth gathered grain from the fields. A good man named Boaz owned the land. One day he saw Ruth in the field. He wanted to help her, so he left extra grain for Ruth to gather. Boaz fell in love with Ruth. They got married and had a baby boy named Obed. God had blessed Ruth and Grandma Naomi with a brand new family. Hannah's prayer. 1 Samuel chapter 1, 1-20. Hannah loved God. She wanted to have a baby, but she wasn't able to have any children. Hannah and her husband went to the tabernacle. She prayed to God, "If you will give me a baby boy, I will see that he serves you all his life." Eli was a priest. He saw Hannah praying. She explained, "I am crying out to the Lord because I want him to answer my prayer." Eli gently told her, "Go in peace, and may God give you what you asked for." Sure enough, Hannah and her husband had a baby boy. They thanked God for the new son. They named him Samuel.